is Tiffany from Jamaican Food Connection, and this is We Love Food, your allergy-free cooking show. So today we're making, just want to let you know, normally I'd be on at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Unfortunately today I came on a little later. Thank you for coming in. It's your first day on Periscope. Thank you so much for joining. I'm here a little later, and so I'm glad to see any of you all join me. But my normal time is 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Central. So bear with me one second while I share this out. And as you can see on the post on Periscope, today we're making a gluten-free version of pineapple upside-down cake. And so bear with me one second as I share this out. It's taking a while. It's taking a while to update. I'm just waiting, guys. I'm being patient. So invite your followers as you come in, and please remember to pump those hearts. I'll greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And then we're going to get started. And we're making this cake from scratch, no box cake today. I couldn't do it. I did it the last time. I did a box brownie last week, and I just refused to do a box cake again. So I'm making it from scratch today, okay? So we're going to really enjoy this one. And it's really, really easy. So here we go. Alright, so we're going to start with the ingredients that we have in front of me, and I'm just going to go through them really quickly. So, if y'all are having difficulty hearing me, I'm going to turn up my volume just a little bit. Well, it's up pretty good. Alright, so I sound low to myself, and I don't want to come off screaming. Thank you for coming in. Thank you so much for joining. Hello everyone. Alright, so we're gonna get started, and I'm gonna showcase my bowl so you all can see what I'm doing. So you're gonna hear my voice, but you're not gonna see my face, okay? So bear with me one second, I'm gonna tilt the camera. Alright, here we go. So you all can see the bowl. So the red bowl right here. Alright, so we're gonna start with the Hi, how are you, Miss Stephanie? How are you? Thank you so much for coming in. So we're making an upside down pineapple cake from scratch, and it's gluten free. So I've had this butter out for quite some time, so it's really good and melted. So I'm gonna dump that in here. And I don't know where you all are, but it's Georgia heat time. It's so hot outside. Inside, the butter melts like this with no assistance. Like, it's just that hot. All right. So, I want this bowl to be like front and center so y'all can see it. Yes, I know. Doesn't that sound good? I thought that would be like the perfect summer treat. So, we're going to start with the butter. And that was a whole stick of butter. And a cup and a half of sugar. Alright, so I'm going to pour this sugar all in. And we're going to mix this. If you want to do a mixer, you can, but my butter is so melted, like, I don't even need a mixer. It's going to melt and melt the sugar, and we'll be done mixing in no time. Alright, so that's the butter and the sugar. Now, some people put their stuff in order, but I'm going to do it based on how I remember my aunts making their recipes. They put all the wet ingredients first, and then they added the dry ingredients. Okay? So, here we go. So, as you can see, thank you for pumping the hearts. The butter and the sugar have already melted. Like I said, the Georgia heat melted the butter like it was outside on a brick. It just is hot. So, it just melted. Alright, so I have the butter and the sugar. Next, I'm going to add the vanilla, and this is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Alright, and I'm going to mix that in. I'm going to add, and this is going to give it a little color. Nothing drastic happens here with that milk vanilla. I'm going to add next my eggs. I have 2 eggs beaten, and so we're going to add those next. Alright. And it's going to make this mixture a little fluffy, so just expect that. That's what eggs do, they fluff up, so. And in the meantime, I have my oven preheated at 350. Okay, and this cake takes about 45 minutes to bake, which is not bad. And if you want to make 2, you can just double this recipe. So you would need 2 sticks of butter, 4 eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla so far. And the rest of that's if you want to double it. So this is a mixture. Thank you for coming in. It's your first day at Periscope. Thank you so much for joining. I think I can tilt and look and talk. I'm trying. I'm trying to multitask. Okay, so next, well, what I'm gonna do now is, because it's gluten-free, and gluten-free flours are usually drier than regular flours, so what I tend to do is add something different. So this time I decided to add oatmeal. Soak it in a half a cup of oatmeal soaked in a half a cup of almond milk, and so it gives it a soft, nice texture. And I'm going to put this in here, and this is semi-wet because it's been soaking. So this is like the last of the wet ingredients that I'm going to add before I add the flour. And I usually gauge based on the texture. Yes, I know. You're like, oatmeal? Yes, oatmeal. Because I could use oat flour, but oatmeal does the same thing. It gets really soft. It absorbs a lot of moisture, but it tends to give it more balance, and it's not as dry as gluten-free flours. So I tend to use it more. I could have just blended it with the milk, and it would have gave it a like wet flour texture, but I just used it whole because it's quicker. So if you don't want to use oatmeal, you can use oat flour. You can use a half a cup of oat flour and a half a cup of almond milk, and that would be the same thing. Okay, I know you're like, pineapple upside down cake with oatmeal. You're not even gonna taste it. Trust me. All right. So the 3 dry ingredients that we're adding is a salt. Coconut flour is a finer flour, and it tends to get a little. It's not as. It doesn't give it as much balance. I'm looking for something that's gonna give it balance, that will let the cake stay together. So bonjour. So that's what I was looking for, more structure and stability in the cake, more so than a taste. So that's why I use oatmeal. So if you want to use something else, coconut flour doesn't have that stability. It's a finer flour. You still would have to add some. Yes, to make it a little more dense. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. So I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt to the baking powder. I have 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and I have a half a cup of rice flour. No, all-purpose flour. I'm sorry, not rice flour, all-purpose. So I have, let's try that again. So it's a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and a half a cup of all-purpose flour. And this is the all-purpose flour that I use, Prestige, this time, because I have like 2 or 3 that I use. Usually it's Prestige, or that brand just slipped my mind, sorry, but I'm sure I'll use it again. So Prestige is what I'm using today, and it's gluten-free all-purpose flour. So I have these together, and I'm just gonna mix it with a fork. It doesn't need anything fancy. Just need to mix it together so it's well blended. You could use a whisk. It's not really necessary. So I'm mixing these. Bill's brand I've never used. I've heard they're really good, but they tend to be a little more expensive for less quantity. And so I just go with what I know and just use it. I'm guessing if I find them at a discounted rate somewhere, then I'll try it. But these work fine for me, so I have no complaints. Yeah. So I'm gonna add this a little at a time to the wet mixture. And that was more than half that I added to the wet mixture. So I'm just gonna mix it in. And because the flour is so fine, you don't have to worry about lumps. It's such a fine flour, it's just gonna melt into this liquid. The only thing that I'm seeing are these oatmeals. Thank you so much for pumping the hearts. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And by the way, my name is, let me reset. My name is Tiffany from Jamaican Food Connection, and this is We Love Food, your allergy-free cooking show. Today we're making a gluten-free version of pineapple upside-down cake. And I'm thanking y'all so much for pumping the hearts. I really appreciate it. That lavender is really pretty. All right. So I just added the rest of the cake batter. I mean, not batter, flour. Thank you for inviting your followers, guys. I really appreciate it. So, ooh, it smells yummy already. And it's not even in the oven. Okay. So, this batch looks a lot more moist than the previous batch. The previous batch, I used more flour. This time I only used a half a cup. The last one I used 3/4 of a cup of flour. And I still do need the stability, so I'm gonna add some more flour. However, I'm gonna add a quarter cup of pineapple juice, just to add to the whole pineapple theme, because this flour, it looks really moist right now, but trust me, it's gonna get really, thank you for coming back, Miss Stephanie. Trust me, it's gonna get a little dry. I don't know if it's just because it's gluten-free and we have to extract the natural gluten that should be in the flour, why it tends to be dry, but I just noticed that it doesn't do justice to some cakes sometimes. That's why I add different flours to give it a denser texture, make it more balanced. So I'm gonna add a little more flour and add the pineapple juice. Okay, so as I'm doing that, I also want to show you how I start the cake. So I have this dish, and I cover it with butter, and then I sprinkle sugar on top. So then I put it in the oven on 350, so it's like glazed sugar. So now I'm gonna put crushed pineapples on top of this mixture, and this is, you know, my version of pineapple upside down cake. I didn't use the rings. Most people use the rings. I didn't want to be like most people. You put some imitation rum in the pineapple. I put some sugar and imitation rum in the pineapple mixture that is going at the top of the cake, and so it has this spiced rum smell, and it's really, really nice. I don't do alcohol in my foods, but this time I wanted to have that flavor. So the spiced rum, the imitation rum, was really, really cool. I really liked it. And I may have to put some more pineapple, but we'll see. I think this should suffice. because I want it kind of like in the center of the cake, away from the edges. So that it's directly on top. Okay, so y'all are probably wondering what I'm doing. Here we go. I'm sorry. No, we're looking at me instead of the, can you all see it? Okay, so now it's front and center. So this is the bottom of the cake. That's gonna eventually be the top of the cake. And I'm gonna pour the batter in here shortly. Let me add the pineapple juice to the batter. Mix it in. This is my last liquid. To be honest, it may not need any flour, any additional flour. It's a little thin, but I think it'll work. So this is the batter. Sorry guys, I hope I'm not making you get dizzy. So this is the batter. It's a little thin. It's not thick like, you know, normal cake batter, but I think it'll work. Let me just sprinkle some flour in here. Not a lot. Maybe about 2 tablespoons of flour. This is why it's hard for me to measure. Because I do stuff like this. I gauge based on what I see the flour doing, and if different brands work differently. So I try to give y'all the most accurate measurement possible. However, that doesn't always work because I'm just following my instincts when it comes to baking and cooking. Alright. So I'm going to pour this batter on top of the mixture. And the last time I let this bake some before I poured the batter on it, so it was more firm. But we'll see what happens this time. And like I said, the flour makes it look a little strange. It's a finer flour, but I will definitely show you the end product of the last cake, and it looks absolutely delicious. And I'm going to cut it for you guys because I haven't cut it yet. I was waiting to come on to cut it. So let me clean this up so that there's no burns when we go in the oven. And all of that, the rest of that is sugar. Alright, so it's on 350. It's going to do like 45 minutes. Alright, and ta-da! So this is the first cake. Ha 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 ha! Doesn't it look yummy? I just love it. So normally I'm not so plain Jane when it comes to cakes. However, this one, being that it's my first time trying it, I want to make it as plain as possible. So, I know! I was so nervous that it wasn't going to come out right, but it came out perfect. So it has like sugar on top with the pineapples, and it's not as glazed as I wanted it, and that's the reason why. That's for like baby cakes. Let me use a big boy regular knife or a butter knife. I do have a cake cutter, but I just don't feel like looking for it right now. That was for a baby cake cutter. Alright. So in the cake, you can barely see the oatmeal. Hi, thank you for coming in. Thank you so much for joining. All right, so in the cake, you can barely see the oatmeal, but what you do see on the side, I like that the crust. I could mail you a piece. I don't know if it'll make it though, because I'll probably eat this before. Okay, so as you can see on the sides, like you can barely see the oatmeal. So now I'm gonna actually try it. Like, I've just been tempting myself. Like, I wonder how this tastes. It's gonna be yummy. Okay, so have a fork. Thank you guys so much for coming in. All right, it's still warm, guys. It's been done now for almost an hour. Okay. I like the crust. I mean the topping, or the top. It tastes, yeah, it is pineapple. It's pineapple upside down. So I didn't use cherries though. So the top tastes really good. It's not as caramelized as I would like it, so this second batch should be better. But it is flavorful. I do taste the pineapples, the juice, and well, not the juice, but I taste the pineapples in the cake. So it looks like it seeped down, or the pineapple juice mattered when I added it. So that half a cup, or the quarter cup that I use in this batch matters. So I used more in the second one, so it's going to really taste like pineapples. The side is crusty, like when cornbread is cooked in a Dutch oven. So it has that buttery taste. And then it's a firm filling cake, but it's not too sweet, which is really, really good. I like this, guys, and I just made this recipe up. This is really good. God gracious, he has really blessed me with a gift. Okay. I'm digging this cake. Thank you so much, Miss Stephanie. Thank you so much for pumping the hearts. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Again, my name is Tiffany from Jamaican Food Connection, and this is We Love Food, your allergy-free cooking show. Today, I made a pineapple upside-down cake, minus the cherries. And it's actually really, really delicious because I've just made the recipe up. So, if you're interested in the recipe, you can definitely watch a replay. It's pretty easy. It's not a box cake. It's a cake from scratch. And like I said, it's not sweet like I would expect it to. So if you're wanting to, you can add more sugar. I only did 1.5 cups. So some people might do 2 cups. And it's really good, y'all. Stop eating it. Good. I thank you all for joining. I thank you so much for coming in. All my viewers that are coming in now, please catch a replay. And big thank you and shout out to Dr. Princess Fumi Hancock, who allows me to do this each and every Sunday on her channel, World Changer Sister Tribe. She is truly a global midwife, and she's allowed me to birth my gift of cooking. And so I really appreciate her generosity and just her overall spirit for allowing me to do this each and every week. So thank you, Dr. Fumi. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday with your family. And yes, thank you, Miss Stephanie. And blessings to Sister Stephanie, who's been pumping hearts and supporting me the whole episode. I really appreciate it. And thank you to all my viewers, all my replay viewers, all my Twitter viewers, all my Facebook viewers. Thank you so much for watching the replay. I will see you all, not next week, but the week after, the first Sunday in September. Thank you again for joining, and have a blessed week. Bye. And definitely try the recipe. It's absolutely good. Bye guys. Have a blessed one.